Hi, my name is Daniela Palmieri, and I'm going to be talking about Chapter 2, Section 4. So to begin, there are four parallels between instrumental and classical conditioning. They come from the idea that both are designed to optimize the animal's interactions with important events. Extinction is the first parallel. In instrumental or classical conditioning, responding remains high as long as the R or S continues to produce or predict O. If the outcome is dropped from the situation, responding will decline. For example, Pavlov noticed that once the dog was salivating to the sound of the bell, the salivation response declined if the bell rung several times without food. In instrumental conditioning, a rat that has been trained to press a lever for a food reward will stop pressing if the reward is no longer presented. The procedure of withholding O after conditioning and decline in responding that results from the procedure are called extinction. Learning that results from the pairing of R or S with O is often called acquisition, to contrast it with extinction. Extinction is a crucial process in behavior change. Extinction allows behavior to continue to adapt to a changing environment, and it is an important tool in eliminating behaviors that cause problems for the client. For example, if a child is acting out in class, one treatment idea would be to identify the events that reinforce this behavior and eliminate them. Exposure therapy is one of the most effective treatments used in reducing learned fears. Exposure therapy is when a psychologist exposes their client to the fear without a consequence after. Spontaneous recovery happens in both instrumental and classical conditioning. It is always important to distinguish between performance and learning. Extinction in classical conditioning is similar to habituation because both involve a decline in behavior when a stimulus is repeatedly presented. The timing of when critical events occur is the second parallel, and it is crucial. One rule is that the closer the two events occur together, the more likely the animal will behave as if the two events were associated. Instrumental conditioning works best when the behavior is followed immediately by O. Timing of O is also very important within punishment and within classical conditioning. One rule is that the animal will respond more to S if S has preceded by O by only a short delay. Instrumental conditioning works so that animals will repeat behaviors that cause good O's and they will stop behaviors that cause bad ones. Size of the outcome is the third parallel. Behavior resulting from instrumental and classical conditioning is also affected greatly by the size of O. Typically, the larger the O, the more powerful it will impact behavior. For example, rats will run down alleyways at faster and faster speeds when larger rewards await them at the end. Preparedness is the last parallel. Animals behave almost as if evolution has prepared them for certain events. This idea of preparedness comes from John Garcia. Garcia examined the rat's ability to associate two types of S's with two types of O's. In the conditioning trial, rats drank a flavored solution from a water bottle. At the same time, every day, their tongue lapped at the drinking spout. It caused a click and a flash of light. In different groups, the rats received either an electric foot shock or nausea after exposure to this complex stimulus. The results suggested that the rats showed a strong rejection of taste, but little rejection to bright, noisy water. Preparedness also seems to have an impact on instrumental conditioning, where the reward sometimes fails to increase the desired behavior. Sarah Shuttleworth performed some of the most systematic research on preparedness in a series of studies with golden hamsters. She saw that when each of the several natural behaviors were followed by a food reward, different results were found. The question, does preparedness exist in humans, is a question that must be answered. It most likely does exist in humans. Seligman said that snake and spider phobias are especially prevalent, which may suggest preparedness in humans. Not all combinations of S's and O's or R's and O's are equally learnable. Overall, it is useful to view human learnings and behavior like that of other animals within its evolutionary context.